Welcome, people of the World Wide Web. So it's Cypher Sigma here, it's midweek, and it is another look what I am watching. So this will be the last one of this year, as I've got quite a few videos coming out in the next few weeks of, wrapping up 2023 and stuff for 2024 and presents and everything else. So there won't be one of these videos for a little while, so people who do watch it, I do appreciate you watching it, but there won't be a video for a few weeks, and there'll probably be a big one New Year because I would have watched everything for over like 2-3 weeks. So we'll get going. I normally do it in reverse order, but I'll do it in the I'll do it in the first order that I've done it. So the first one we have is from the Mortal Kombat set that I got from Robo Fett and the Bounty Bunch. So really do appreciate all of these. So this is Snowblind. This is story focuses on Kensei, and that is Sub-Zero here, and we have Shang Tsung, and then obviously you can see Kano on the background. So this is quite good. This is where in a kind of desolate world where Kano rules, and you kind of have these characters, they all kind of meet up in the wastelands, and there's kind of an upheaval go on, and you learn kind of how Kensei becomes Kensei, so to speak. Really, really good. I actually like this. This is obviously Scorpion's my favourite, so the first one will probably always be my favourite. But I did really like this. This keeps in tune with the whole theme of these films, and I like that they expand in the universe. So definitely one to watch there. Next one we have, so this is Silence. So this is Martin Scorsese's movie. This is set about monks in Japan, or priests, I should say, Japan. So in priests in Japan in this era, I can't remember where it's set, quite 1966. So they basically outlawed Christianity, and if it was anything to do with Christianity, you were basically executed or killed or tortured and then killed. It starts off with Liam Neeson's kind of the head monk over there. All his disciples are basically being tortured and stuff. And then it goes back to Portugal, I think it is, where the Catholics are situated. And you have two priests, is one played by Andrew Garfield and one played by Adam Driver. And these two then go searching because Liam Neeson's character only has a note given that it sounds like he's died, but they don't know. And these two disciples were trained by him, so they want to go and check it out. And it is their story through Japan. Obviously, it is a time where obviously they would be executed if they were found out, so they have to hide, and they're hidden by the people who believe in the religion and stuff like this. So it's a very religion oriented story. It is 2 hours and 40 minutes, I want to say. Yeah, 2 hours and 44 minutes. It's quite a long, drawn out movie. Now, it is all around religion, which I didn't realise first. I'm not the biggest religion person, but I was interested to watch it. It was very interesting on their take. I don't think it comes from someone's story, but I think some of it is true events of stuff like that do happen, or based on that timeline of stuff. And yeah, Andrew Garfield, it kind of sits front and forth. He is the main kind of character in this, even though you have Liam Neeson and Adam Driver in it. Very, very good acted by him. Very, very good for the story. He is brilliant in this sort of type movie. I think this is kind of the same feel of like Hacksaw Ridge did. He's very good at his art and stuff, and this is very, very good film. Whether I'd rate this as one of his best ones, we'll find out when I do my Andrew Garfield. But this is the last one I needed to watch for this, so I can now do my active factor with him in it. Next one we have Horrible Histories. Never seen the series. I only got it because I like Lee Mack, and he's in it for a little bit. And there are lots and lots of famous British people that pop up in here, comedians and stuff like this. I thought it was okay. For me, obviously, it is based off a kids series, and it is aimed very much at a kids series. Now, for me, it was kind of too immature for me. If it's kind of the High School Musical one. They're all, or not even High School Musical, because they do have even though they do have quite a bit of singing and stuff in here. Like, I could appreciate it, but it wasn't nothing that I'd revisit to. But I keep it because obviously, if I do have kids, or if any of my friends have kids around stuff, it'll be good for them to borrow or watch or something. So there is that. And then we have another one. So this was a gift from Matsubu Movies, Once Upon a Time in the West, special edition. Never heard of this, never seen for this. This is Charles Bronson. He is harmonica. He is kind of a rogue cowboy. And Henry Ford is kind of, I think, James. He kind of runs this local town. Now, it starts off with Harmonica getting off a train, being ambushed by some people who he kills and gets injured. You also see that on another part of this town, there is a kind of farm, and basically James's henchmen kill everybody on the film, the dad, all the kids and everything, and unfortunately the wife is not there. She comes back, she's a widow and owns his property but doesn't really want to give it up, and kind of harmonica man Charles Bronson, he takes it on himself to kind of look after her because there is an underlined kind of thing to it. And then you kind of have the harmonica man and James that rival each other, leading to obviously the kind of duel at the end, which goes the way it kind of should have done. And there we go. I won't say too much. I mean, it, as movies go, I thought it was all right. I mean, maybe I wasn't in the right frame of mind. I mean, and maybe it is. I think 2.5 hours long, because it's quite a long story to get into. But the thing that marvelled this is this made $5 million to make, and I think it was 1968. This was made, or when it was released, so it was made in the 60s. Like the grand sighting of how some of these sceneries and where they are was amazing, and this is something I feel we miss. We go too much towards green screen and stuff to try and compensate, whereas I think you could, yes, you might spend a little bit more money, but it looks so authentic. Like this is it probably wasn't even town. This is probably somebody, they got all the stuff, they built like the trains, you know, and had it all set up and that, and it works. And literally for a 60s film, you know, you wouldn't believe this wasn't a western town and everything like that, and it works so well. And that's what I really, really liked, and it was the aesthetic of it that really pleased me. So I really enjoyed watching it. I said I didn't think it was the greatest movie I'd ever watched, or you know, westerns aren't necessarily high up on there; they're quite low. But I didn't, you know, I'm glad to have it in a collection. It probably would be something I would happily rewatch again. It just wouldn't be necessarily up there, and I could have a very special edition. So thank you, Matt, for these movies for that. Then we have this one, so A Mighty Heart. This is set after the events of 9/11. This is set in 2002. You have Angelina Jolie and the other guy, and I cannot remember his name. This is based on true story. They are journalists. They are in India, and they are basically looking in, basically trying to dig out the stories of what happened and stuff like this of 9/11. There's a lot of things. Unfortunately, the husband gets kidnapped. And it is basically, the story is his wife's journey of trying to get him back. Now, I'm not going to say anything because I don't want to spoil what goes on. Now, when you buy this version, this I think is a standard version. It comes with 2 versions. It has a PSA, a public service announcement, on the front of it. Now, I stupidly watched that, and it tells you kind of what happened at the end of the film, which ruined it a little bit for me. I mean, it's well shot and it was well done. I can see why Angelina Jolie got a lot of praise for this. You know, it is very set and realistic, and I can understand it. Obviously, the subject matter was released, I think, in 2007, so 6 years after, 5 to 6 years after 9/11, depending on where it was released in that year. And I can understand it might have been a bit of a sore point for quite a lot of people there. Obviously, this does again have quite a religious take on it, which obviously might not be everyone's cup of tea, but I was very interested to learn about it and a story like that, and it just shows you stuff that does happen. And then the final one for this week is the other Mortal Kombat. This is the last one that they have released of the series. This is Cage Match. Now, this is kind of a prequel to the first movie, because this is kind of the story of Johnny Cage and that. And I thought it was all right. I mean, if I'd rate the 4 of them, this would be the worst one of them, just because I like more of the Mortal Kombat characters and stuff like this. And apart from Cage, Shinnok, and maybe 1 or 2 Raiden and that I mentioned, there isn't too much of that. It's more set in Hollywood, glitz and glamour and stuff, and I just didn't enjoy it as much as I did the other ones. Not to say it's a bad movie, it was an alright movie, but I hope for more. But there we go, that has been Look What I've Been Watching. These are the 6 films. I've watched obviously quite a few long ones in there. Have you seen any of these movies? Please let me know in the comments down below. Otherwise, I'm Cypher Sigma Screen Time. Hope you enjoyed this video, hope you're having a nice time, and hope you enjoy having a nice Christmas or celebration, whatever you're doing. And I'll see you in the next one.